Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome to episode 25 of our SkyFactory 2.5 modded Minecraft Let's Play series. If you recall, last episode we set up this wireless terminal so that we could access our AE system from anywhere around the base, and then we also set up this automated charcoal dropping system that's going to keep our endo flames running. If you notice it's not running right now, that's because these pools did fill up. Between last episode and this one while I was doing prep and stuff for this episode. And you'll notice I added another flower here. I went ahead and put down a Solagnolia. Pretty easy to craft, and basically what it's going to do, it's not going to require any mana, but when it's down, it's going to keep your ring of magnetism from picking up items. So if I was to, let's say, throw down this piece of redstone here, we'll give it a second. You notice my ring of magnetism is not picking it up. So I'll have to go and stand directly on it in order to pick it up. And then I also moved just our Terra Steel creation and our runic altar over here to use them because I wasn't really producing mana over there anymore. So that way, you know, they're right here at the ready. And, you know, they have mana and everything. So, which those will eventually be moved fairly soon. It was just that was kind of a temporary setup. And you'll notice I started prepping something over there. We're going to cover that today, and we're going to cover this today. I've set up half of it and built it out. It's another Steve's Factory Manager setup. I went ahead and built one of them, and I went ahead and laid out the other just so that we can go through it pretty quickly, because I don't want to do a lot of Steve's Factory on camera, like I said. And then I'll also set this up, which it's not going to be made out of cobblestone. It's actually going to use the living stone, or living rock, but I was waiting until we got a decent buffer size of that built up. So if we look in here, let's see, where's it at? Living, yeah, we've already got 347 living rock. So let's go ahead and get to that. If you notice, I did bring the AE system over and plugged it into here, and we've got two inventory managers set up. And if you notice, this one's already been laid out. This one, I went ahead and laid out the triggers. I mean, the, you know, the different variables, and I mean the, oh, I can't think of what they're called. Commands. That's what it is. I went ahead and laid out all the commands. So basically, what this is an automated system that's going to put down stone, and whenever it turns into living rock, it's going to break it and put it into the AE system for us. And we're going to be setting up the same thing for the living wood, the oak wood to living wood. And I went ahead and set up deep storage units over there for those, because we'll use a bit of this as we build out the Botania area and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. What I've got here is pretty much the same setup as we did before. Just make sure and right click so you get this like almost X circular shape on your block gates. That means it's going to deposit the blocks directly above it and not two spaces above. So you notice it turned into living rock and then immediately was replaced by stone. And what it's doing, it's breaking that living rock and putting it into our system. So I've got the AE system with export buses with acceleration cards in them, feeding this Java barrel to keep full 64 stacks of oak wood in there, and then this chest is empty and it's got an import bus on it with acceleration cards. So that's what's putting the items into our AE system. So we'll go ahead and knock this out really quickly. You want two variables here on the side. Your first one you're going to leave, we'll just leave it as white. You can really do any color you want, but we're just going to leave it as white. And just make sure, select your containers and select all your block gates. And I believe 5, 8, okay, that's it. And then your other one, just go ahead and set it to a different color. We'll do magenta. Sounds good. And then over here, you'll have a trigger. And this you can pretty much leave the same. You can change this. I'm going to leave it as 1 second. You can do 10 seconds if you don't want it checking, you know, every second. If you're getting, it's not really going to cause a lot of lag, but in the event you might get some or something, you can always change that over. And then we're going to say for each variable, list white element magenta. Like I said, any color for these, just make sure and match them up. Your list is going to be all your block gates. And that's it for this one. We're going to go ahead and link this to the input. We're going to wait to connect the trigger just because we don't want it to start running and acting weird while we're trying to set this up. So on the input, we are going to say variable magenta and target up activate, and then items we're going to say living wood. So basically it's going to say if there's living wood above the or in the purple, variable, which is pretty much, think of it as the area above the block gates. It's going to be any time that this variable is set up for any time that it's going to search for a variable. For example, this one, it's going to use just that purple color. So, and right up here for each variable, that's going to be your block gates, and then the element is going to be that block space above those block gates, what they basically control, I guess you could say. Hope that makes sense. Kind of hard to explain, but that's pretty much the way I think of it anyway. And we're going to link this input to the output, and the output is going to be this chest here, and we're going to say up. It doesn't really matter. That's only for like machines and stuff that have a specific face that you want to activate. In the case of a chest or a barrel, any side is fine. And we're just going to leave that blank. So basically what it's going to do is when there's living wood in those slots, it's going to break it and put it into this chest. And then we'll set the output. Whoops. Well, why you don't want to connect? There we go. We're going to set the condition to, let's see, the variable magenta again. And we're going to say target up. Make sure and do up. You can do your block gates above the space too, and if you do, you hit down. If you do them, you can't really do them to the side, I wouldn't think, with this design. But well, I guess if you laid it out, I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, just make sure it's facing, that open airspace that you're going to use for this. And then we're going to say if this has, it takes a second to scan in Steve's Factory Manager, if it has living wood or oak wood. And whenever you set this up, make sure, and I can't stress this enough, make sure right click your living wood and say match all, because the way Botania works, I guess it changes the data. You can't see that it changes it, I guess, but it does slightly change it as it's converting the oak wood to living wood. So if you don't set this, which actually I forgot to set the match all when I was setting this one up, so I set it up and I didn't think anything about it, and I went on about my business. And when I came back over, there was stone everywhere because I didn't do match all, so it was breaking it as soon as it even barely started to convert it. So make sure you do that match all. So, and then we're going to say if that's false. So we're saying, if there isn't living wood or oak wood on that, then we're going to connect to this input, and we are going to say oops. No, we don't want the variables. We're going to select this barrel that has our oak wood in it and target up. That's fine. And then items, we are going to take out oak wood, and we're going to specify amount as 1. So make sure and do that, otherwise it's going to try to put a bunch in there and it's just going to throw it all over the floor. But so we're going to say the input is 1 oak wood, and we're going to connect that to our output and say the inventory is the magenta variable. That means it's going to place that oak wood into the magenta variables. And up, activate, and leave that just as it is. Oh, one other thing. Let's see, did I set... Okay. Let me double check here. Okay, I believe... I feel like I'm... Oops, let me check this in action. I actually think I forgot... Yeah, I forgot one thing here. That's what I was thinking. So it's, for each... No, it's the oak wood... Let me see here. Oh, where did I... No, it'd be the output, right? Okay. Target condition, is it? Put for each loop order. Oh yeah. That should be use all. Let me check this. Is it not using... Did I not set the variable up to connect? Give me 1 second while I get this figured out. I forgot what I... where it was. So, I'll be back in just 1 second. Oh, never mind. I see. It's supposed to be this, not the output. Connect it for the for each. That's where I was looking for. So you want to make sure for each. That way it checks all the inventory. So there we go. I apologize about that. Steve's Factory Manager. If you get one little thing wrong, when you go back, when you go to test it, it's just it's gonna go wrong. So it takes a second to find it. So if we watch it for just 1 second here. We'll see it transform right about now. Now. There we go. Yeah. And the rest of them will be just a second behind. So it's not a big deal. It's not really going to affect it at all. So come on. Because that one was so fast when it did it. We barely even got to see it. Okay. Let's go. There you go. There we go. Okay. So that's that. So if you guys have any questions on that, I know I covered it fairly quickly, but if you do have any questions on the Auto Botania setup, just let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help you. Feel free to send me a picture of your setup or ask questions, or I'll make an additional video covering it more in depth. And you can actually do just one of these and it will cover both wood and stone for you. So it'll fill up like so much stone and then switch over and do wood. But I tend to like 2 of them just so I can have them running constant. And, we're always going to have plenty of living rock and living wood on hand. So, but if you guys want to see the way to set up Steve's Factory Manager to cover both of them, I'll do a video on that. It's fine. So just let me know. But anyway, the second thing I want to cover today is this. This is our Jaded Amaranthus, and you can tell there's a lot more going on here. I've built some thermalillies here, and I went ahead and did floating. I think they look better, and we can plant them on the stone, which this will eventually change to living rock. But for now, I've just got it as stone, and these will actually create mana from lava. So, usually this is something that you use with blood magic. But in this case, there's not blood magic in the pack. So I'm going to show you guys how to set that up. And then it's just feeding into a mana distributor. I've got 1 mana spreader pointed at this pool, 1 at this pool. It is a little bit overkill. I mean, neither of these actually use that much mana, but that's fine. It's not going to be an issue. And then I have 2 hopper hawks on each side. Because I found that one, unless it was fed mana, it wouldn't cover the entire area. And then I've got, of course, the Pulse Mana Spreader and Drum of the Wild, which actually will reach all the way over here, which is great. And then I have one of those Solignolias, so our Ring of Magnetism doesn't mess things up over here. So the way that we're going to get lava into this to feed these is, I've actually went ahead and prepped the stuff. We're going to first set up a Tesseract here. And if you recall, when I set up the, where do I want to set this? Actually, I think right here would be great. So we're going to set that down there. If you recall, when I set up those liquid tanks with the lava and all that, you know, we made a lava tank, we set it up, and this is one of the reasons that we did that. So we're going to say fluid mode, receive only, energy mode, receive only. That's fine. And let's grab ourselves, let me find, oh, should I just look it up? Oh. We'll grab a half stack of energy conduits, a half stack of fluid conduits. We're not going to need nearly that much, but that's fine. And we are going to use the fountain from Mine Factory Reloaded. So we'll just put this in right there. And what this does is this is going to take any kind of liquid, and it's going to place that a block of that liquid above it, one space above it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and link our power over. And then for the liquid, what we're going to do is let me actually grab a bucket, because filtering liquids with the I'm sorry about the lag. It goes crazy when I go flying through this area. But if you notice, the FPS issues are, for the most part, seem to be fixed. Now, when we come over here, like really fast like that, it is going to lag for a second. But and especially after hitting that water. For some reason, that water always lags it for a second as well. But the reason I'm going to use a drum and a bucket of lava is because filtering liquids using conduits isn't really a thing. It's kind of a pain, and one way that you can do it is just put a drum in here as a buffer, and then we'll run our energy conduits over here and say, you know, you're going to insert and you're going to extract. And if you notice, it's filling up at a very rapid rate. At this point, this will never go empty. You know, as long as we have lava in the system, it's not going to go empty, so we're not going to have to worry about it filling water or whatever in there. And since our lava generation is automatic, that's not going to be an issue. So we'll go ahead and run this out. And for right now, I'm going to say insert, so that way it doesn't just start putting lava into this fountain. Because one thing to keep in mind with the... Actually, we'll set this to extract. We'll set this to extract, and we're going to set it to active with signal. And the reason we do that is because if you were to just keep pumping lava up out of this, it's going to reach a point that, you know, these have ran, and they have a 5-minute cooldown after they run, but in that 5-minute time period, they're just going to keep eating lava. So if you just keep feeding that in there, you're just going to be wasting all your lava. So what we're going to do to kind of compensate for that is we're going to set up a red logic timer. And we're going to set it up just right here. And you know what? Okay, welcome back. Sorry about that. It crashed on me. I accidentally hit this thing. Well, for some reason it says it's an AND gate. But it's not. It's a timer. I don't know. I guess that's bugged or something. Well, anyway, it used to be a timer, but it crashed because I accidentally hit the timer with the Yeta wrench and crashed it. And I know it took some of the video back. So what I was saying is put this drum down because what that's going to do is it's going to act like a buffer for your lava. So only your lava is going to get sent through this, because otherwise conduits, you know, there's no filter for fluids. So using this drum, I mean, it's never going to empty out. I mean, it filled this thing up in a matter of like I don't know, 20 seconds or something. It's fairly quickly, and we're not going to be using that much out of it. So what we've done here is set this up to extract on a signal. We're going to say it's active with a signal, and then we're going to set this timer up for 72 seconds is what we're going to do. And by the way, if you guys hear fireworks, I apologize. 4th of July is going on outside, and so everybody's shooting off fireworks. And by the way, happy 4th of July if you're watching this. I guess the night it comes out. So, but the reason we set it at 72 seconds is because if you notice here, I've got 2 thermalilly set up, and each of these is going to use 1,000 millibuckets of lava every roughly 6 minutes. We're going to give it 6 minutes. It's more like maybe 5.5 or something, but we'll give it time to go ahead and get everything out of the system for us, and you know, give it a little bit of extra time. Like I said, this system is going to be really overpowering as far as mana production for all of this. So let's see. The reason we set it up for 72 seconds is, of course, 6 minutes, 360 seconds, and every time that this pulses, it's going to emit 400 millibuckets of lava. So, you know, 360 divided by 5, we get 72 seconds. So, that way we keep just the 2,000 millibuckets in here that's going to need to run. You could also set this up with like some kind of a signal extension or something like that would work fine, but we're just going to use this. It works just as well when I was testing it in a creative world. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put our redstone conduit here and then just run it, run it right over here, and we'll just connect that on there, and we're going to say on the redstone signal, we're going to emit a strong signal, and then every time it goes through and it pulses, it's going to extract some of the lava from the drum. And we're going to set this to insert, and if you notice, it's not filling up. So it'll actually take it a second to get enough lava in there to emit the first time. And while we're waiting, let's go ahead and we'll connect those two. And there we go. Now it's making flowers, because I did get a little bit of lava here when I was playing with it. So, and this should be... yeah, it'll take it a minute. We'll go ahead and start working on something else, and we'll come back in a second to see how the system's running. But as always, you know, if you have any questions on this, just let me know. This timer over here, I do have it set up for the 200 seconds interval. That way it builds up a decent amount of flowers and then breaks them. Because we have plenty in our system. We don't need it running any faster than that. And this, by the way, is a mana distributor. Pretty easy to craft, just mana, steel, and living rock. And it's going to, anytime that it gets mana, like a mana pulse, it's going to evenly distribute it between the mana pools that are, you know, directly around it. So we've got these two, so it's going to evenly distribute between these two mana pools. And so, yeah, we'll let that run for a second, and we'll come back over there in just a second. But the next thing that I want to cover is another Lexica, or another Botania thing. And if we go in here under Alphamancy, the portal to Alfheim. So basically this is going to let us, for one, gain access to a lot of items in the game that we, or in Botania, that we don't currently have. There is quite a bit to building it. We're going to cover it. But what you can do is you can hit visualize, and you know, get it opened up here, and we're going to set it right there, I believe is where I was planning. Yeah. Yeah, right there was where I was planning for it to go. And so we can see it, and it's going to stay here, you know, until you log out of the game or something. So let's go ahead and get to crafting some of this stuff. For starters, you are going to need a couple mana pools. I really wish this had a crafting grid on it. That would be really, really nice. So we'll go ahead and get our 2 mana pools here. And let's go set these down. And then the next thing that we're going to want is these Natura pylons. So let's flip through here. We're going to need mana pylons and then Terra Steel nuggets. And you're going to need 1 piece of Terra Steel to create all this, because you're also going to need it for the Elven Gateway core. So let's go ahead and let's see. We'll need a mana diamond, 2 mana steel, and a gold ingot for each one. So let's see. Do I have... Oh. No, okay. I don't have any, which I can make some. I know I've got some over at the... Actually, I'll just grab a half stack of that. And we'll go ahead and get a couple diamonds. We've got plenty of those. And then some gold. Okay. And we'll just use this. This is fine. If you notice, that's starting to kick in. And you know what else I'm going to need? I'm going to need... oh, I already have some Eyes of Ender. That's great. Okay. Oops. I swear I always get that kind of stuff backwards. I'm terrible about it. And let's go ahead and get our nuggets. There we go. That's our 2 Natura pylons. And they almost look like the, they really look like the pointer thing off of The Sims, is what they always reminded me of. And next up, we're going to need the living wood core. So, let me see. Is it straight living wood? I can't recall. Okay, it is. So just like that. And that's pretty much the last expensive piece that you're going to need for this. And the other thing that you're going to need is, I believe, glimmering living wood. Yeah, 3 of those. So that's with what? Glowstone? Yeah, just 1 piece of glowstone. So get this. And we'll do that and that. So we'll put our gateway core down here, and then our put that there. And this. Okay, our glimmering living wood. That. And there we go. Oh, it just popped up and said structure complete. And so that's all done. But the only thing is we do have to supply this with mana. So the way that we're going to do that is this setup that I set up over here. That's what's going to give this thing mana. So let's create... Yeah, I'm going to use that mana spreader. And we'll make one more really, really quickly. So let's grab just any kind of mystical leaf. That's fine. And that, whoops. I'm used to still having the gold recipe. Okay, so we've got that all set up now. So basically this is going to feed the mana into those from down here. However, you know, mana cannot travel through this cobblestone. But there is an item that we can craft that will allow them to transmit through the mana manipulation, through the blocks and stuff. So what we're going to want, first thing we're going to want is just a couple of these mana lenses. So just glass with mana steel around it. So let me order a couple pieces of glass here. And tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw all this in there. Just because we don't care. We'll need it eventually. Alright. There's our mana lenses. Now let's go ahead and jump through here, and there's quite a few different ones. We're not going to cover them all today, but let's see. We want the Phantom Lens. You can utilize the Abstruse platform and its properties. It's possible to make a lens that will allow the mana burst to pass through blocks. In doing so, the time it can stay without losing mana, though, is decreased. So you got to keep an eye on that. We'll just need this, which is just living wood, framed living wood patterned, and a mana pearl. So let me grab an ender pearl. We'll go convert that really quick. Oops. Okay. And let me see, I always forget the way all these living woods are. So we'll need, well, actually, let's just pull up. Is it not? Oh, abstruse. Not okay. Okay. So we'll need a couple framed and a pattern, which framed is just 4 living wood planks. Patterned is planks like that. Okay. Not a problem. Oops. There's our framed. There's our patterned. Get our abstruse platforms. And get our phantom lenses. And then what we can do is we can just come over here and just right click these on. They're going to go on the front of it. Just like that. And then we can connect them now up to that. And if you notice, it's not too far. They're not going to lose mana just in the time it takes for them to travel up there. So we'll do that. And now it is going to take this a second to fill up. We're going to need it at least halfway full. So it's going to take a while, but one thing that we can do to speed this up, one thing I like to do, is use our mana tablet. So let's go ahead and tell this that it's going to accept mana from items. And we'll go ahead and throw that. Well, we're going to get this in here. Maybe not. Maybe we're not going to be able to do that. I'll tell you what we can do. We'll go ahead and remove that for just a minute. And we'll get this filled up. I should have... Oops. I should have actually... set this up, you know, prior to doing that. But I'm going to let these fill up for a minute. We'll go over there and we'll actually take a look at this. So, I'll tell you what, it's not... What did I not do here? Extract with signal. And this should be emitting a strong signal. Okay, let's see here. That's set to insert. I wonder why that's not... We'll actually see here in just a second when it comes around. I know it's working in my creative world just fine, but... Okay, give me just a second to figure this out and let the mana fill up in those, and I'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. I realized that I actually had these set up in the wrong direction when I was flipping through it and everything. So I did get these filled. I pretty much drained out the mana tablet almost entirely. I didn't want to take everything it had. And then down here I did get this running, and I just ended up having to just re-break it and replace it. It's still the exact same setup. That's all I did. The only block that I even adjusted was this fountain. But I broke it and replaced it. Now it's working, and I did notice that for some reason in my test world it was, it was pulling out 400 lava at a time, 400 millibuckets. In this world it was only pulling out 200. So I did just adjust this to 36 seconds. So just a heads up on that. I'm not sure why in my test world it was pulling out 400. I was using the exact same conduits and everything, but oh well. So it does seem to be pretty set on pulling out 200 for me. So I did cut that in half, and it is creating mana. Now this one has already ran through it all. I may have to let that run for a little while to see if if the system's going to work out good, but we are going to upgrade our mana spreaders here in a minute, so I think that'll be alright. I do believe. Okay, so we'll let that run for a little bit longer. But anyway, we got this going, which is great. So what we're going to do is we're just going to right-click, shift-right-click this Elven Gateway Core. No? Right-click it. No? Oh! So sorry. Forgot I took these Natura pylons off. Okay, now, we shift-right-click, and if you notice, it's going to activate it, and it's going to turn green, and it's going to start pulling power. Now, to initially activate this, it is going to require a lot of mana. I believe half a pool in total. So we'll let that kind of start up here. You're going to see a bit of visual effects. It's going to take it just a second. But I don't suggest turning this thing off once it's started up, because what's going to happen is it's going to have to pull all that mana again every time that you want to start it. And actually, to keep it running, it doesn't require that much mana. So we'll get this started up, I believe. Okay, I believe it is actually done now. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your Lexica Botania and throw it in there. And if you notice, we got one back here, and it says contains 2 schools of knowledge, Minecraftian knowledge and Elven knowledge. So now we've unlocked a lot of new stuff. We have the Elven Guard book. We got a little message here. I'm not going to read through all of that. And anyway, let's... Well, how do we... Okay, that's great. Oh, whoops, there. Okay, so now if we click on the Alphamancy, there's a bunch of different stuff here now. There's resources of Alfheim. This is how we're going to get like the Dreamwood. It's also how we're going to get Elementium, Pixie Dust, Dragonstone. There's also this Elven Quartz. There's Alf Glass, which is actually a really nice glass, one that I've been wanting for a bit. We've got the Ritual of Gaia here, the Relics of the Aesir. And we also, outside of just that, if we go in here to, like, say, generating flora, we now have, new flora in here. We've got, let's see, new mana manipulation stuff, natural apparatuses. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff, and we're going to start getting into all of that. But the first thing, really the only thing that we want to jump into this episode is these Elven mana spreaders. They are so nice. So to get it, we're going to need Dreamwood, Mystical Petals, and Elementium. which I believe, let me double check this, I believe, yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure it was just Mana Steel. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll just make a block of it, because why not? And actually, we're going to make 2 blocks of this. And we'll jump over here. Let's throw in our Mana Steel. And where's my other block? Come on. Come on. Sometimes it takes it a second. Oh, wait a second. Never mind. I'm losing my mind. It does require 2 for 1. I forgot about that. And then we're going to want a bit of this dream wood. So we're just going to throw all this living wood in there. And it's going to take it a second to give it all back to us. And there we go. So we've got all of that. So let's jump over here. And let's order, let's say, like a bit of these. And go ahead and break that down. So our Elven Mana Spreaders are pretty similar, just like that. And it's going to get us one of these. Now these are much more powerful. So the first thing that we're going to do here is convert this one right here. Where's my axe? There we go. We're going to go ahead and convert this Mana Spreader over, because this has pretty much been our the point that's kind of holding us back here, because the standard Mana Spreader just can't, you know, send mana quick enough to get it where it needs to go and everything. This is still having issues. I don't know why that is. It was working fine a minute ago, and then now it's not. Okay. Oh, this thing is so finicky. So finicky. Let me reduce this. Okay. I don't know. I might end up just setting up something different for this, because this is actually driving me a little bit insane. Yeah, because I mean, it's not pulling any lava out. So for right now, we're just going to tell it always active. I don't care. You know, we're generating so much lava. If you notice, it's just cooking through that and pretty much just wasting it in there. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep messing with it. I'm not too concerned about it right this second. It did work in my test world, but for some reason it's not wanting to now, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. But it may have to do with that saying that it's an AND gate now. Like after I hit it with the wrench and it crashed, and now it's just become an AND gate. So I may just change that over, and that may fix it. Like I said, it worked perfectly fine in my test world. So, but anyway, that's how you're going to make those Elven Mana Spreaders, and we'll cover a bit more of that next episode. Sorry, I had a little bit of issue with that. I don't know. Don't hit your timers with Yeta wrenches, just for the record, because it doesn't like it. But I'm gonna, change all these Mana Spreaders over to the Elven ones. There's really no reason not to. And then next episode, let me know down in the comments if you'd prefer to see a little bit more Botania. We'll get a bit further in that, or if you'd rather see some tech, or us go kill the Wither or something like that. So, you know, it's kind of up in the air. There's a lot that's added. But there are a lot, you know, a lot better forms of mana generation that we can get into, like the Keiki Muris is really, really nice. And so I don't know, we'll see. This Spectrolus is really, really good if you have a good setup for it, because you'll have to kind of alternate types of wool and stuff, and it's going to follow the same spectrum, but you have to be really particular with the way that you set it up, and it's kind of a pain, but it does produce a good amount of mana, so it is kind of expensive if you notice. Not really expensive, just a lot in there, but anyway, I do believe we're going to end the episode there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you have any questions, let me know, you know, down in the comments. And I'll play with this and get this figured out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just because I have an AND gate here. All of a sudden, an AND gate that's a timer. Or, I don't know. It's all jacked. But yeah, so we got our portal Alfheim open. Here fairly soon we're going to start killing the Guardian of Gaia. So I hope you guys are excited for that. And we're actually getting a decent ways into Botania. Now, regardless if we do like the Wither or Tech or something if we do the Wither or Botania next episode, we are going to get into Botanical Brewery a little bit, making potions, because those are really, really powerful potions. So we will be using those. If you notice, we're coming out positive on mana now. So, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please comment, like, subscribe. Very, very much appreciated. You guys have been awesome about that. I do apologize, this episode's coming out kind of late. I've been a bit busy today, and, you know, just 4th of July stuff and everything. So, I do apologize about that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry we had a couple hiccups along the way, but I feel like we covered a bit. So, and I hope you guys join me for next episode. So until then, do take care, and I hope to see you then. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to bring you guys back in here. I got this working, and I even logged out and came back in, and if you notice, it just gave it 1,000. Right now I just have it set to 6 seconds, but it is working. I did end up moving everything over here. These still say AND gates. They may say it all the time. I never noticed it before. Okay, maybe NEI reads them as AND gates. I don't know. But yeah, so I got it working. I just moved everything right here, and when it's on its side, it's working. So, you know, if you put it on the ceiling and it's not working for some reason, put it on the side and that may get it. I don't know. Like I said, in my creative world, I set it up like we had it before pretty much, and it worked fine, but I don't know. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring you guys in and show you that was up and running now. So I apologize about the issue, and once again, happy 4th of July, and I will see you next episode.